testimony and affidavit for revocation, rescission, termination. For all contracts, corporations, and commerce. For the record, to be recording in the record. Notice to all systems, all others, all entities in commerce including all living subjects and their persons. Within commerce, the dominions of the Moorish Empire, Americas, earth, foreign and domestic. Truth affidavit, status, and non-commercial declaration. Notice to the agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent. Referencing these codes as reference for subjects in the office of. A natural man in Maryland territory, affirm we are peace, I am alive, living, a non-enemy and non-combatant, am not a friend or ally to any enemy of any government, I am not a statutory person, corporate entity, or public trustee subject to commercial laws. I declare my standing as a living private man / national, natural person, living heir, in North America also known as United States of America, major, living a life of subsistence, not engaged in profit-driven commercial activities. As upheld in Hale v. Henkel 201 U.S. 43, 1906, I retain my right to contract, manage my private affairs without interference from statutory authorities or subjects identifying themselves as statutory persons attempting to enforce statutory policies. I revoke all presumed commercial and Christian contracts and adhesion agreements executed without my fully informed consent, reserving my rights with UCC, Universal / Uniform Commercial Code 1-308 in Maryland Constitution Article 1, 2 and 3. And I am affixing my signature / autograph to this document, by my own sovereign authority, in Maryland Territory, Baltimore, on the land, onshore in North America, ancient lands, and by this ancient document do hereby continue with the following statements of fact, and affirm. 1. That I was unaware that a completed, signed, and submitted Form 1040 or income tax return and a W-4 employee's withholding allowance certificate, the authorization document that allows an employer to withhold a worker's compensation for labor from his pay, and all other foreign corporate forms are voluntarily executed instruments which could be used as prima facie evidence against me in criminal trials and civil proceedings to show that I had voluntarily waived my constitutionally secured birthrights and that I had voluntarily subjected myself to the federal income / excise tax, to the provisions of the Internal Revenue Code, and to the authority of the Internal Revenue Service, Internal Revenue Tax and Audit Service Incorporated, IRS, assigns and/or its subsidiaries, hereafter referred to as the IRS, by signing and thereby affirming under penalty of perjury that I was in effect creating a person subject to the tax, of which all my sovereign creations within the dominions of my ancient sovereignty, authority, and ancient Moorish Empire are creditors and not ever a debtor. 2. That I was unaware of the legal effects of signing classifies as a filing of an income tax return as shown by the decision of the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit in the 1974 ruling in the case of Morse v. U.S. 494 F.2 D 876, 880. Wherein the court explained how a citizen became a taxpayer by stating, accordingly, when returns were filed in Mrs. Morse's name declaring income to her for 1944 and 1945, and making her potentially liable for the tax due on that income, she became a taxpayer within the meaning of the Internal Revenue Code.
Alright, this is just public notice as a reference. In the records of Moorish American Consular Court, Moorish American Consul number 000000120 120, 2025, January 3rd. This was entered into the records January 3rd, sent by certified mail to the subject in the Office of Internal Revenue, along with the Moorish Empire Treasury and Internal Revenue notice, remedy law notice. So I'm just making public records, keeping public records of all the documents that's filed and recorded in the Moorish American Consul Court and the House of A Trust. Islam, Shalom.